Welcome to this week's Q30 Newscast. I'm Karina Kamey.
And I'm Alyssa Murphy. If you haven't noticed, we have a brand new set behind us.
In March of 2020, Q30, and especially our president Joe LaGrippo, set a goal to make Q30 look more professional and visually appealing. Nearly 2 years later, we finally have this beautiful piece behind us. We want to thank everyone who made this possible and hope to continue seeing Q30 go up.
Now, amongst the crisis happening in the Ukraine, the Executive Director of Religious Life at Quinnipiac University, Father Jordan Lenigan, recently returned from his 10-day humanitarian trip to the Ukraine and Poland.
Hapsiba Rajan has the full story.
For 10 days during our spring break, myself and Father Joachim Kinney, the Catholic chaplain here at QU, had the opportunity to travel to the border of Poland, Ukraine, and actually into Ukraine to join not only in the humanitarian efforts, but also to have an opportunity to assess the situation, to learn better about what actually is going on.
Those were Father Lenihan's opening remarks at the press conference held Wednesday morning. The goal of the trip was to talk to Ukrainians and learn about their challenges, fears, and what they wanted to tell the American people.
I don't have a word in English for something that is ultimately incredibly positive, but also incredibly difficult. But I'm so honored that they opened themselves up in the honesty in which they spoke to us about the situation.
Father Lenihan says that the honesty of the answers moved him. Their plans were changed and both of them left the city of Lviv before the missile attack on Friday.
We spent the good bulk of our time, 3 days, actually in Lviv, and we left the city less than 24 hours before the Russian missiles hit on Friday of last week.
Father Lenihan feels that the refugees' responses was the most memorable.
The thing that I think struck me the most was that every person, from the woman running the center to the students, all expected that they would not survive this experience. Everyone said that they thought they would die by the end of it.
Father Keeney described the conditions in Lviv to be both normal and preparatory for anything that could happen.
It was kind of a mix of people, as much as possible, going about their daily lives. You know, the streets were full of people just, going from one place to the other. But you also saw lots of signs of preparation for possible attack. So we passed a group of basically teenagers filling sandbags on the side of the road.
The religious leaders brought back a message from the Ukrainians at the border.
Others said to say thank you. Thank you for not forgetting them. Thank you for reminding them they're not alone.
Reporting for Q30 News, I'm Hapsiba Rajan.
Thank you, Hapsiba. On March 21st, Provost Deborah Leibowitz updated the Quinnipiac community on ways to help Ukraine. With the help of Quinnipiac's Central European Institute and input from international embassies, the university has assembled an online resource center to help identify organizations supporting relief efforts. Quinnipiac also plans to host teach-in sessions on campus, and QU faculty will make media appearances to address the complexities of the war. Earlier tonight, the Multicultural Student Leadership Council hosted a culture night. 16 culture and identity organizations showcased food and flags from their culture with the intent to immerse and educate others in a multicultural space. The event also included performances from various cultures.
Over spring break, students had the opportunity to attend a service trip to Senanu, Guatemala. The trip, organized by the Albert Schweitzer Institute, attended multiple locations to learn about permaculture farms.
Learning about permaculture has definitely changed the way I go thinking about things. Like one of the three ethics is earth care, people care, future care. Those are three guiding ethics that I think almost anyone can apply to anything in their life.
Let's take a look at the recent COVID numbers on campus. As of Monday, there are 9 active COVID-19 cases on campus, 5 of which are from the last 7 days. These numbers show a decrease from last week's total 16 cases. The mask policy on campus remains that students must wear masks during class and in large indoor gatherings. Otherwise, they are not being required. Quinnipiac University announced a new scholarship for local Hamden residents starting with the class of 2022. The university has committed to 8 scholarships totaling over $300,000 once the program is fully implemented. Olivia Cattell has the details.
Last week, Quinnipiac announced a new scholarship program specifically for Hamden residents. It will offer 2 Hamden High School students a scholarship a year for 4 years. This program is part of the university's strategic plan to strengthen the relationship Quinnipiac has with the surrounding community.
The program is a scholarship that's equivalent to 75% of full-time tuition. There'll be 2 given each year. So once we get through the whole cycle, that means that there'll be 8 scholarships.
The university worked with Hamden High School and Hamden Mayor Lauren Garrett to make this possible. Garrett said, quote, "I'm grateful for the commitment that Quinnipiac University has made to provide opportunities to Hamden students. This is another step forward in the close partnership between the town of Hamden and Quinnipiac University," end quote.
The relationship with the town of Hamden is very important, and that we're always looking for opportunities. And so we know that there are students who are super, super talented, and we would love to bring them to Quinnipiac. Quinnipiac is in their backyard.
The high school is also very pleased with this program.
Quinnipiac, being a local university, is making an investment in our town and our students, and that's what I think is going to happen. I think kids are going to have a greater chance at high quality higher education.
The hope is that the scholarship will provide more students access to the opportunity of higher education.
There's definitely been a buzz in the community about this, from the superintendent's office down into the classrooms. And I think this is going to drive student interest in Quinnipiac, but more importantly, it's going to drive student outcomes and success.
For Q30 News, I'm Olivia Cattell.
Thank you, Olivia. On March 12th, Quinnipiac announced registration information for the summer and fall 2022 semesters. Currently enrolled undergraduate and graduate students may begin planning courses through self-service. Registration begins on March 21st for graduate students and continues through April 1st for students with under 27 completed credit hours. A full list of registration dates can be found on MyQ.
There is a new minor coming to the School of Communications for the upcoming fall semester. Students now have the option to minor in financial communication and business journalism. The coursework will include training that leads to careers in investor relations, special situation hedge funds, and public sector agencies such as the SEC and the U.S. Treasury.
It's a chance for journalists to learn the quantitative skills they need to understand business, articulate strategies, to see the world the way business folks do, and hold power to account. It's not just writing about business, it's writing about companies, it's writing about governments, it's writing about nonprofits. All of them put out numbers that journalists need to understand.
This upcoming Friday, the School of Law will host a symposium on topics in American legal history from 12 to 5 p.m. While the event is free, registration is required to attend. Speakers at the event include Kate Messer, Professor of History and Board of Visitors Professor at Northwestern University, George Thomas, Board of Governors Professor of Law, Elizabeth D. Katz, Associate Professor at Washington University School of Law, Philip Hamburger, the Maurice and Hilda Friedman Professor of Law at Columbia Law School, and David Koning, Professor of History at Washington University in St. Louis.
Earlier today, celebrity chef Jet Tila took over Cafe Q's Create Global station. From 11 a.m. to 1:30 p.m., the Los Angeles-born chef and restaurateur served some tasty Thai classics from his new cookbook. The first 25 students in attendance received a signed headshot. Tila also held a meet and greet for the first 15 students in attendance and hosted a teaching kitchen where attendees learned to make Vietnamese shrimp spring rolls.
Just last night, the Quinnipiac Autism Alliance held their speaker event with the intent to educate attendees about various subjects within the autism spectrum disorder community. Quinnipiac professor Dr. Cheryl Bernardi discussed optimal learning environments for students diagnosed with ASD. Tim Malone spoke to the president of Quinnipiac Autism Awareness about the event. Quinnipiac's annual charity dance marathon is coming up this Saturday. All of the money raised will go directly to the Connecticut Children's Hospital. The event will take place in the Athletic Center in the main gym and Burt Con. Q30 will be live streaming the entire event starting at 2 p.m. until the end of the event at 12 a.m. Olivia Catella has more from the Boomerthon chair of Q-Thon, Lauren Galligan.
Super duper excited for Saturday. The hype throughout the year has just been so high. We love what we do. We love, fundraising and raising funds and awareness for these kids. Throughout the year, we've really we meet every Monday at 9:15. All of us as a management team meet. We have so many different committees that do so many different things.
We are heading out to our first commercial break, but still have more to come. We have information on the new Hamden budget and its impact on the community.
And we have international updates from Luca Dorenzo. But first, we have a quick look at the upcoming weekend weather with Matthew Duranzik. Matt, what can we look forward to?
One word, rain. Yeah, unfortunately, it's gonna not really be a really great next couple of days. As you can see today, 47 with a low of 39. Tomorrow, high of 49 with a low of 45. And Friday looks a little bit better, but obviously it is going to be partly cloudy. The high of 60, which, it's always spring, so, and a low of 43. I will have this and more coming up right after the break.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies. Selfie, nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
When we adopt a shelter pet, we discover they're a unique mix of all kinds of things.
Come on, Jules, spot on this last one. There it is. Keep going with it. Leo.
They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love.
Association Vice President of Finance is getting a title change to Vice President of Operations. Katie Cohen sat down with SGAE board members to hear more about what the change entails.
In a recent SGA restructure for the 2022-2023 school year, the VP of Finance position is being taken away, and a new VP of Operations position is being added to take on some of the responsibilities.
With the VP of Finance role being eliminated, most of the financial responsibilities will be handed over to Campus Life. This new position of VP of Operations will also have other responsibilities in SGA.
The VP for Operations will then be taking on a lot more internal affairs of the organization by doing things like elections, trainings, onboardings, and other important things towards the well-being of the organization.
But why was this change made? The role of VP of Finance has been difficult for many students in the past.
Together, it was a hybrid of the Vice President for Finance role being inherently just a lot for student leaders, for any individual student.
The current VP for Finance, Awane Roberts, believes that students should continue to be the ones in control of this money.
So if it's students' money, students should be able to oversee it. If you stay on top of it and do what you're supposed to do, the job isn't as hard as most people make it out to be.
While previous students in this position see how finances may be handled better by another university office.
I think it's a great idea. Like I said, I think finance is very much a lot of work, so I think if there is more people, it can definitely be handled better, as long as the communication within those people is efficient and good.
For Q30 News, this is Katie Cohen.
At 6 p.m. today, Student Government Association hosted its second Talks on the Rocks dinner in collaboration with Chief Experience Officer Tom Ellett. Students discussed a wide range of topics surrounding health, wellness, and accessibility. A catered 3-course meal was provided to all attendees.
I think events like these are crucial so we can come together as a community and we can work towards solutions and helping the student experience here. I definitely think events like these should be a lot more frequent. I think students have a lot of great ideas and we need to come together and kind of raise up and use our voices.
Crisis continues to develop between Russia and the Ukraine, plus more happening around the world.
Luca Dorenzo is here with us in the studio for an international update.
Thank you, Alyssa and Karina. Almost after a month, Russia invaded Ukraine. Disaster continues in the Ukrainian city of Mariupol, which is surrounded by Russian troops. The city has been continually bombed, and citizens are living on little food, water, and power. Shells rain down from all borders from the city, and President Zelensky and Ukrainian citizens are refusing to surrender. Ukrainian officials say, as of yesterday, more than 2,000 civilians have died and 80% of homes are destroyed. According to experts, thousands of civilians are fleeing Mariupol every day, yet hundreds of thousands still remain unable to escape. Biden will travel to Brussels on Thursday to converge with NATO about further sanctions towards Russia. A Boeing 737 operated by China Eastern Airlines has crashed in the mountains of rural southern China on Monday, 132 being passengers at the time of the crash. While firefighters have been searching the crash site, no survivors have been found. According to eyewitnesses, the plane commenced into a nosedive. As of today, one of the black boxes has been found but has been heavily damaged. Officials are unsure if the cockpit voice recorder has remained intact. Lastly, Finland has been ranked the happiest country in the world in a survey done by the World Happiness Report. This is the 5th consecutive year Finland has been labeled the happiest, followed by Denmark, Switzerland, and the Netherlands. Finland scored 7.8 out of 10, with 10 being the happiest score, according to the survey. And the United States moved up from 19th to 16th place. That's all the time we have for today. Let's take it back to the desk.
Thank you so much, Luca. It's time for our second commercial break, but don't go anywhere. We have more on how local police departments are coming together to support the crisis in the Ukraine.
Plus, Mason Glod is here for a political update, and Matthew Juronsik has the weekend weather ahead. We will be right back.
I think it's just vapor with flavor.
It won't hurt my kid like cigarettes, right?
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
My kid
knows it's dangerous.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping, maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's into soccer. She's on the honor roll. She's just not the type.
No way.
No way, my kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping, maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Meet the Scan, a simple procedure whose mission is to detect lung cancer early.
I'm here to save you!
But I feel fine.
That's great, but you may still be at high risk for lung cancer.
Oh man, that's a new fence.
If you smoke, early detection could save your life. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Thanks for sticking with us. Alyssa, I don't know about you, but I've been loving that it's getting slightly warmer out and it's getting sunnier out lately. I've just been feeling really good about it.
Oh, yes, me too. With the windows open, it is great, and I am hoping to keep them open. Now, Matt, is the sun here to stay?
Ladies, unfortunately, I have to be the bearer of bad news. It is not going to be here. I'll explain in a second, but looking at the weather around Connecticut, Torrington is 40, along the coast of New Haven, New London here, 41, Danbury is 42, and looking at the 7-day forecast, as I mentioned earlier, tomorrow and Thursday are going to be, today and Thursday are going to be rainy. Friday, like I said, partly cloudy, high of 60, that you still get that summer or that spring. But, as you see, it's going to just slowly start to come down with a high of 52 on the following day, low of 48, and then 37, 44. So while it is spring, happy spring, everyone, unfortunately, the weather does not show it. That's all I have. Corinna, Alyssa, back to you at the desk.
A first draft of Hamden's next annual operating budget was released on March 17th. The $278 million budget plan includes a tax hike and a strategy to reduce Hamden's long-term liabilities. Major factors in the budget plan include increased medical expenses, expanded debt service payments, and a spike in fringe benefit costs. The Town Council will compose a revised final document in the coming weeks.
The Connecticut police are gathering bulletproof vests to send to the Ukraine. The Hamden, New Haven, West Haven, and Hartford police departments have gathered over 150 vests so far and plan to continue their efforts. While the departments won't be providing many details about where the vests are going due to security concerns, they have assured the public that supplies are being sent to a licensed company. There's been a lot going on in the political world lately.
Mason Glod is here in the studio to give us all the political updates. Mason?
Thank you, Karina and Alyssa. Vice President Kamala Harris's National Security Advisor, Nancy McEldowney, announced she will be stepping down in a statement released on Monday. McEldowney will be replaced by her deputy, Phil Gordon. The resignation comes after McEldowney accompanied Harris to Poland and Romania to show support to Ukraine and NATO. McEldowney stated she will be stepping down due to personal matters. The move comes following several high-profile exits in the Harris camp. In a statement from the Vice President's office, Harris's team said McEldowney was a, quote, close and trusted advisor to the Vice President and a valued member of this administration's national security team, end quote. Dr. Anthony Fauci has once again warned the Americans could face more lockdowns if COVID cases rise. Fauci claims the new BA2 COVID subvariant could soon increase case numbers across the country. Americans should expect to pivot back and forth from protective measures and more normal conditions based on COVID case numbers. Fauci said, quote, "We can't just say we're done. We're going to move on. We're going to be able to be flexible because we're dealing with a dynamic situation," end quote. That's all I have for politics this week. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Mason, for the political update. We are heading out to our last commercial break, but when we come back, we have Jacob Resnick in the studio for all of the latest sports updates from the MAC to the NCAA.
And information on the Quinnipiac esports teams taking home their own titles in Atlantic City. Stick with us.
I know what you're thinking. I need a job. I need a new career.
Well, I've been there.
I've been there.
I've been there. I wasn't happy with what I was doing. After high school, I didn't have a plan.
I just wanted to start working. I got laid off twice, but you gotta keep going.
You just need the right skills. Find an apprenticeship.
I found a 2-year IT program.
I found a medical course online.
I'm now a consultant in the tech space.
You have more options than you think. You can do this. You will find something.
You will find something new.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made home ownership happen. Homeschooling yourself on loans, beefing up your credit score.
So I'm pre-approved.
You were like, yes! Sorry. Color coding listings, ticking boxes, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. Home sweet home. You aced house hunting. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Honey, what I think you need is a socket wrench.
I played JV basketball.
I'm sorry. I don't think it looks right.
This is good, and it's all good, baby.
Is it really all good?
If you love me enough to routinely test your handyman skills, not to mention the strength of your marriage, then of course you'll visit nhtsa.gov/therightseat to make sure I'm in the right car seat.
I'm gonna call my dad.
Thanks for sticking with us. Our basketball teams were not the only ones in Atlantic City recently. The Quinnipiac Esports Super Smash Bros. Ultimate team was the #1 seed going into their MAC championship this year. They earned the MAC regular season title while competing against Niagara. The #2 Bobcats Overwatch team and the Bobcats #6 Rocket League team also competed for titles against other universities.
I had a great time, and I think that most of the team did as well. I think it was, and the fact that Smash won.
We have 2 weeks worth of athletics to catch up on as our winter athletic teams wrap up their seasons with some big tournaments across the board. Jacob Resnick joins us now to talk about what's been happening in Quinnipiac sports. Jacob, what's going on?
Thanks, guys. It might have been spring break for Quinnipiac students, not so much for the Bobcats winter sports teams. We're deep into postseason play, so let's jump right into it, starting with the end of the MAC basketball tournament in Atlantic City. Last time we spoke, the Quinnipiac men's basketball team had just pulled off the first round upset over Marist. Well, they did it again, beating Siena in the quarterfinals to advance to the MAC semifinals, becoming the first #11 seed in conference history to do that. The Bobcats did see their season come to an end in that game at the hands of the St. Peter's Peacocks. But a bit of consolation, St. Peter's not only went on to beat Monmouth in the MAC title game, but how about Kentucky and Murray State to advance to the Sweet 16 in the NCAA tournament? Meanwhile, the Quinnipiac women's basketball team also exited in the MAC semifinals, but Trish Fabry and her squad had more games to play, earning a bid to the WNIT for the 5th time in program history. A first-round matchup with the Rhode Island Rams saw the Bobcats advance to the round of 32, where they were eliminated by Boston College. Final score 94-68, but another season to be proud of for Fabry's Cats. On to women's ice hockey, which made some incredible history a couple weekends ago. The Bobcats, in their 3rd NCAA tournament appearance in program history, recorded their first win, dominating the Syracuse Orange in the Columbus Regional 4-0. Quinnipiac advanced to play the number 1 ranked Ohio State on the Buckeyes' home ice, and graduate goaltender Corrine Schroeder did all she could to try and will the Bobcats to the Frozen Four, making a program record 73 saves, but it wasn't enough. Buckeyes win 4-3 in double overtime. Lots of positives for this Quinnipiac season, and the good news, the team's entire core will be back in the fall. And finally, Quinnipiac men's ice hockey is gearing up for its own NCAA regional appearance this weekend in Allentown, Pennsylvania, following a disappointing end to the ECAC hockey tournament last week in Lake Placid. The top-seeded Bobcats steamrolled past St. Lawrence and Colgate in the quarter and semifinals before losing to the 3rd-seeded Harvard Crimson in overtime. Jaden Lee's power play goal sent the game to the extra period, but Harvard's Matthew Coronado's wrist shot from the left wing brought the Whitelaw Cup back to Cambridge. A look ahead to this weekend, it's Quinnipiac and St. Cloud State, and Michigan and American International in the regional semifinals on Friday, with the winners facing off on Sunday with a spot in the Frozen Four on the line. That's what's happening in sports. Back to the Loop on the desk.
Thank you, Jacob.
This afternoon, the Student Programming Board announced the performer for their annual Wake the Giant concert, following a week of hints and build-up on their Instagram.
Performing at Wake the Giant this year will be Sal Volcano, best known for Impractical Jokers.
The comedian will be here on April 10th, and information on how to get tickets will be released soon. Karina, do you think you'll be getting tickets?
I probably will get the ticket, but I have to say, I was expecting a concert because it is the Wake the Giant concert, so hearing Sal was a little strange this afternoon, but I know people are excited. They've gotten a couple mixed reactions on Instagram, but I think people are gonna be looking forward to it.
Yeah, I know. It's our last year, so I feel like we gotta go.
You have to go. It's our last time to go.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed. I was hoping for a musician, concert artist, musician, but with the surprising announcement of Sal, I'm not too disappointed. Yeah, I think it'll be interesting.
It'll be fun.
Well, unfortunately, that is all the time that we have for tonight, and that wraps up the last time that Karina and I will be on Newscast before we graduate.
I'm just very happy that I was able to make my last appearance on the Q30 Newscast with you and with such a talented team of producers behind the show. Make sure you stay up to date with us on Twitter at Q30 News and on Instagram at Q30 Television.
Find our website at q30tv.com and download the Q30 TV app in the App Store now.
For everyone in the control room and in the studio and my co-anchor Alyssa Murphy, I'm Karina Kamey. Good night, Bobcats.